Welcome everybody to ITS 208, Graphics and Visual Computing. Today is going to be an addition, a continuation to our lesson about Adobe Photoshop. We'll talk about the adjustment layers. The adjustment layers in Photoshop are a group of very useful, non-destructive image editing tools that add color and tonal adjustments to your image without permanently changing its pixels. What meaning non-destructive means it will not really change anything from your pixel. You can always turn it off and turn it off and back on, and your image will stay the same. Okay, so that means it's non-destructive. Instead of applying it directly to the image, it's just a layer, meaning um, it doesn't really do anything as soon as you turn it off. Now let's take a look at this image. This is a raw photograph using a mobile phone of the Milky Way galaxy, the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Um, Notice that it's raw. It doesn't really look good. It's because it's taken directly from a phone, and we need to fix this. Okay, to fix it, um, we need to use the adjustment layer. Well, there are other ways to fix it, but right now we'll use adjustment layer to fix it. So think of the adjustment layer as like it's just a plastic with a plastic or transparent plastic or sheet with the settings applied to it, and then all you need to do is put it in at the top of this image to apply those settings that you just added. Okay, let's say for example, let's add a new layer, and then let's put that layer with color adjustments. We'll add brightness, we'll add more exposure, and then put that layer on top of this image, and it will look something like this. Okay, so that's the adjustment layer. So filling it up with the adjustments, and once you put it on top of that image, it will look however you want to make it look. Then if you wish to turn it off, if you just hide it, and it will go back to the original. So delete most of ang imong image basically as soon as you turn it off. Now, to access the adjustment layer, all you need to do is click on this part right here, and Adobe Photoshop, that should be right here. Ito itong gigamit kanina. So we have solid color, gradient, etc. We will examine all of these adjustment layers one by one in a moment. So let's start with the brightness and contrast. Brightness and contrast makes the adjustment to the tonal range of your image. The brightness slider is for adjusting the highlights in your image, and the contrast slider is for adjusting the shadows of your image. Okay, so again, click on the layer adjustment tool, select the brightness and contrast, and here's the property. For the property, you can increase the highlights, just like that, or you can increase the shadows, just like that, or decrease the shadows. Okay, so that's brightness and contrast. Let's hide this for the meantime. Let's proceed to the next. Levels. Levels modify the tonal values in an image by adjusting the levels of the shadows, midtones, and highlights. It's one of the most used tools in the adjustment layer panel, and using just a touch of level will go a long way of correcting your image. So let's take a look at our image again. And let's select the levels. Basically, it allows you to modify the highlights, the mids, and the shadows individually. So this is the shadows, this is the highlights, the middles, and these are the highlights. Now, if you wish to increase the highlights, all you need to do is move it to the left, okay? And then if you wish to um, increase the shadows, move it to the right, okay? Alright, in this case, let's try to move it to a little bit to the left, and then move the shadow to the right, and then for the midtones, you can just move it around. Moving it to the left will increase the overall midtone. Moving it to the right will decrease it. So it's actually one of the most commonly used um, adjustment layer tool. So let's see the difference. This is before, and after. Notice that the original image is still there. We're just adding a new layer, and that layer contains the effect. You can always turn it off. That's why it's called non-destructive. It's because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't really affect your image. It's just being added on top of it. So this is where the brightness, and this is the levels. Let's turn it back off. Let's proceed to the curves. The curves let you adjust as many points as you want throughout the entire tonal range of your image and is the most powerful and precise tool for editing tones in an image. So let's use that. Then curves. You'll have this part right here. Let me hide this for the meantime. Okay. Alright, so basically the curve, there's different ways on how you can use the curves, but I think curves will have should have a separate lesson on how to master it because even me, I'm still not master. I haven't mastered curve as much. So if you wish to learn more about curves, you might want to do it on your own. But just to give you an idea, curves will allow you to change this. So moving this area right here will allow you to decrease the size of the the level of the shadows. Move it just like that. Similar with the levels. However, the real power of the curves comes from this. We have mod this basically this tool right here will allow you to select the area that you wish to adjust. And in this example, let's try to select the red area. So that's it. So if you want to change this part right here, make sure to select this area and move it around. Okay, and then we have there is another way or the most probably yung pinaka gamit kaayo nga part sa curve, and we will discuss it in our future lesson. Basically modifying the colors. That's what is good. And then we have exposure. Exposure lets you adjust the exposure level with three sliders: exposure, offset, gamma. Basically, it's just about the lights. Exposure will adjust only the highlights of the image, offset adjust the midtones, and gamma will adjust the dark tones only. So it's almost the same with the levels. It's almost the same with the brightness and contrast. But you can always try and test which one will work best on your composition. Okay. Vibrance. This adjustment layer modifies the bright vibrance of an image in two ways. The saturation slider evenly increases the saturation of all the colors in the image, while the vibrance slider modifies the level of saturation of all colors too, but more selectively, focusing at least the least saturated colors and avoiding the saturation of skin tones. Now, let's try to take a look. Currently, let's keep the exposure adjustment layer on, and then let's select the hue saturation. Sorry, vibrance rather. If you increase the vibrance, notice how it changes the color of the reds. Saturation changes overall. Okay, you just have to try and test it. And then hue and saturation. So hue saturation is almost the same. However, you can select. Okay, let's turn off the vibrance. Hue saturation allows you to adjust the colors individually. Let's say, for example, I want to change the color red. So if I want to change that to any other color, all I need to do is click on the selector tool, click on that, and then click on the red part. So it automatically selects the red, and then you can either change the color. Again, only the red colors are hidden or are less saturated. Increase the lightness, and then or you can also change the color. Let's say I want it to be orange, I want it to be green, I want it to be blue, etc. Now, note in this case, if you can remember, we have layer mask just like this. Notice nga ang background na himupod siya nga blue because if you turn it off, although red ni siya, naman po yung red parts ni nga area. So if you wish to just fill a color for mas kunin mo ang color, or we want the saturation to affect only this part kanang car, that's the time na imong erase-on ang part nga na ay outside the what do you call this, the car. So since this is white, we will paint it with black, if you can remember in our lesson a while ago, and then paint it with paint the area that you wish to, but you have to be very careful. Alright, so you have to practice working on this one. Anyway, we'll discuss in the future lessons the color masking. This is called color masking, by the way. Alright, okay, so I'm just going to do it roughly just to give you an idea. Okay, so we'll just turn it off for the meantime. So that's the purpose of color saturation. Oh, yeah, saturation. The color balance adjustment changes the mixture of colors in the image. In this example, I made a selection of the butterfly swing only and adjusted the color balance. Alright, so I don't really use it as much, so we'll skip that part. Black and white, same thing. If you wish to change the color in black and white and then change the adjust the highlights and shadows, you can also do that. And then photo filter, same thing. You will be using lookup tables or LUTs. And then channel mixer, and then color lookup. Now, color lookup, this adjustment comes with a bunch of prepackaged looks for you to apply your image. Each look remaps the color on your image by using lookup table. In other words, it kind of looks like a filter, diba? Kung namoy filter sa inyong camera, it's the same thing. So we have, okay, so that color lookup. So we have yeah, this one, color lookup. So these are the filters rather. So if you want to make it look this way, okay, let's try to test each of these filters. So these are prepackaged. That means it's built in, and you can always download more from the internet. This looks good. This also looks good because it kind of makes it look like vintage. Like this is a vintage car, so you want to make the photo look like a vintage photo as well. Okay. Right, the invert adjustment layer makes the photo negative effect by inverting the quality of your image. So, for example, let's turn it off. Let's add invert. Basically, it just inverts the color, like a negative film. If you fine, if nakita mo o negative film before, it kind of looks like this. Posterize produces a flat poster appearance to a photo by reducing the number of brightness values in the image. It kind of looks like a poster now. Alright, and then threshold, we'll skip that part. Gradient map also allows you to apply a gradient, overall gradient map to your object. So right now it's black and white. You can always choose this, any color if you want. Or again, you just have to click it and then add the colors for yourself. Okay, but I don't see any use for this, at least in my case. So maybe one of you guys will find a use for this effect. Selected color allows you to change the effect of one specific color, just like what we did with the hue saturation. So you selected color, and that's, for example, we will change the color of reds, and we'll turn the cyan part of the reds to, okay, something like that. Basically, it just allows you to add additional control to the object, to your colors. Alright, so that's it for adjustment layer. For your activity, you're going to create, choose one of your photo, and then add adjustment layers to it, and that's it. You just have to, um, you just have to select a photo of yourself, taking clearly, of course, and add adjustment, and then all you need to do is list down the adjustment layer that you did, and then show the before and after. Just like this. This is the before, and then if we're going to group them all together, let's group that. This is before, and this is the after. We added the selective or the adjustment layers. Alright, that's it for now. Thank you. I'll see you in our next topic.